I can't say enough. He's a tough kid.
It's a miracle. I mean,
it's a miracle.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being willing to talk to us and kind of be a voice for the family who's had such a rough time.
We appreciate it. It's definitely the worst thing that we've been through, and I sure hope nobody else has to go through this. But it ended well.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
And you'll be able to send that photo to all of us.
You guys text me your names.
I'll text you.
And I'll get a picture and I'll text it to you.
Thank you. We do have Rod up here.
Rod
and the sheriff are right
You've been
behind
listening to, that is Steve Smith, who is 2-year-old Jesse Young's uncle. What he has described is nothing short of a miracle, and all of us, I know, and those of you at home, so many people have been thinking about this little boy and praying for him. He is safe and he is okay. Incredible to just even imagine what he must have been thinking overnight. He's 2 years old, was sitting outside overnight in a diaper and wearing one croc. You heard his Uncle Steve saying that he was cold and shivering, and that volunteers who had come out on horseback, they had expanded the search this afternoon to that 2-mile mark. And now we're going to hear from the sheriff's office right now in Mays County. Let's listen in.
recovery. Nobody gave up. Everybody in this community dug in. This is what it's all about, this community, the faith that everybody had in each other, and the results just extraordinary.
As the time kind of ticked on, were you guys, I mean, I know nobody lost hope, but were you getting discouraged in any way?
Yes, very discouraged. I mean, you know, obviously so many emotions were going through our head, obviously, just disappointment in ourselves. Why couldn't we find him? You know, obviously. So there were so many gamuts of emotions. I talked to the sheriff about different game plans, obviously. He had a great game plan. Johnny Jansen. There's so many people to thank. The communities, first of all, to thank, and then all the law enforcement, first responders, EMS. We can't even begin to start, you know, the list is just too many.
I know we keep talking about the community, but, you know, volunteers found Jesse. How thankful are you that there was so much support out here beyond law enforcement?
Very thankful. More manpower on the ground helps. Makes all the difference in the world.
How proud of you are of your team and what they've done. I mean, you guys got a major search and rescue operation assembled here within 24 hours.
I'm very proud to be working with them. You know, they're dedicated. I think the thing that makes a difference is almost all of them have children themselves, and when it's children, they're going to try to treat it like their own, and that's why I think we have such a turnout here from the public. I can't even think about all the agencies that came, and I want to thank everybody, and I can't even thank all of them. There's so many. We had hundreds of people on the ground, and I really think it comes back to, you know, they have children, and they're going to treat it just like it was their child walked away. You know, who amongst us has got a 2-year-old child that you're not going to give 110%? And everybody done that. That wasn't just the Mays County Sheriff's Department. You know, everybody come together and done that. The whole community, everybody that came. And we don't need a feather in our hat for that. We're just here doing our part. And that's it. We're just thankful to the Lord the child was found safe. And let's get back to work.
Do you have any idea about the agencies? I know you said you weren't sure, but I mean, at least
Oh, just too many. Tulsa Search and Rescue. We had Cherokee Nation Marshal Service.
Here. District Task Force team. They sent some people out to assist.
We got the FBI in today.
Yeah.
Obviously, numerous
fire departments.
Okay.
Local Patrol PD was here. Salina PD.
Big thanks to Rogers County Sheriff's Office. Yeah. They brought a mounted patrol out here. It did fantastic work. It cut our grid size down so we could be more focused on different areas that we hadn't looked at.
Washington County.
Come
all the way in for search and emergency management. I can't even.
So it's safe to say dozens of agencies and hundreds of people.
Yeah, probably upwards of 300 people.
Yeah, okay. There was probably 100 first responders, maybe 150.
Right.
You know,
Last
GRDA,
count.
they was here. I mean, everybody we called come running as fast as they could. You know,
so
bottom down.
What's next?
What's next? Probably the next call. The way it's been going, probably a domestic. Everybody's at home with COVID, and they're all arguing. So that's probably what the next is.
Slowly getting everybody off the property so the family can have some peace.
They'll get tired and go. disperse here in a little bit. Get the ticks off of him.
And the little boy is right now.
He's in a bath.
Yep, he's in a bath, and I actually got to look at him, took some photographs of him. He looked outstanding. I'm just floored, really, honestly, that it's been that long. He's that young, and he still has a little smile on his face. He's all scratched up, obviously, and it looked like he's been out in the woods for a while. But he's a tough little guy, really tough little guy.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he's talking about his Nana and his family, and just you can tell he was a little bit shell shocked too, just kind of looking around, all the unfamiliar faces coming up to him and running up to him and wanting to help. So I just want to thank again the community, people that's not in the community that gave their thoughts and prayers. Really, that means the world to us. We don't do it for anything but obviously this outcome.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Mays County Sheriff's deputies updating us on honestly just such a relief, and you can just see it in their face and hear it in their voices as they talk about everyone came running the minute that they called. People all the way from Washington County, Bartlesville driving down. We know Tulsa sent FBI agents, multiple FBI agents were there. They even had Oklahoma Task Force 1. That's the type of thing that we see. We saw that at Hurricane Harvey, so major disasters. They had sent out Oklahoma Task Force 1. You heard the sheriff's deputy saying they had 150 first responders out there today and more volunteers. They had 300 people helping today, and those 2 volunteers on horseback who found Jesse sitting in the woods. Imagine he was in a diaper and 1 shoe, just sitting in the woods by himself 2 miles from his home. Just as a parent, I know we all get chills to think about him wandering alone for 2 miles and what he must have been doing in the night last night. Just incredible to hear about that. You heard them say that he's doing fine and jabbering away right now, and was excited that he got to ride in a police car. Fox 23's Rick Marinon was there as the word started to spread that Jesse had been found and was safe. And Rick, explain to us just what that was like hearing, and as you start to see first responders rushing to their ATVs to get to that scene. Rick?
Yeah, well, before we get to that, I do want to say not only is he jabbering on, but he's doing everything a little boy loves to do, and that's getting a bath right now. They took him right to the tub when he got home, and that is where he's at. He did not need medical attention at all, and the ambulance actually drove away. He does have some scratches, but there was this moment where one person said they found him, and all of us just looked at each other, got in our cars, and rushed. And the thing is, we all rushed to one side of the search scene, and then it turned out he was on the other side. And then that is when he was loaded up into a deputy's car, and they put him in a blanket, and he is okay as for now. As for, he was in the woods for more than a day in just a diaper and Crocs. The uncle told us earlier today the boy went out with his dogs sometime yesterday morning. The dogs came back. The boy did not. And so there is just to give you an idea of how far he trekked into a wooded area, there is no direct road leading from the house he's at to where he was found. We had to go around for about, I would say, 1.5 miles maybe just to get to the scene. He was found 2 miles away. He went 2 miles into the woods. There wasn't a path. There wasn't anything. Just 2 miles into the wooded area last night by himself, and that is when volunteers on horseback found him on the edge of the woods. From what we saw, it was where there was a clearing for some kind of horse ranch. He was on the edge of where that woods ended and the clearing began. But for now, everyone is beginning to wrap up. I can tell you it is a community effort out here. There was one man that came down here, arrived, I want to say around 6 or 7 this morning. He came from Joplin because he had heard what was going on, came down I-44 and offered his assistance. He didn't have much, but he did just walk around trying to help out. A lot of neighbors were estimating how far could a 2-year-old actually go, and they were thinking just a couple of football fields. Instead, he ended up going 2 miles. But for now, everyone is packing up. There are tears. There was a sense this day was going to end in tears somehow, and thankfully they are tears of joy.
Yeah, Ricky, absolutely. So, Ricky, one of the things I was astounded by when we were hearing the sheriff's deputies talking about the volunteers who found him just literally sitting there in the woods, and it was quiet. One of our meteorologists, Phil, just ran the temperatures for this morning. Temperatures in Salina were in the mid-40s this morning, and we know he was out not in any kind of clothing other than his diaper and just his shoes. So obviously, I mean, it was very cold overnight as he was just sitting out there all alone.
Yeah, I don't know if we still have a picture of him on screen. If we do, just let me know. But this boy is only 35 pounds, and he's in a diaper. So 40 is a lot when you are just skin, bone, and organs and that young, and you are by yourself. I did ask the uncle a question earlier on today. I said, you know, he's so young, does he even recognize when they call his name? And he said, we believe so. So there were a lot of unknowns about his survival skills and techniques and just how he was feeling, what could have possibly happened to him. We weren't going to get those answers until he was found. And thankfully, he was found with maybe a scratch or two, and he was so healthy that, like I said, they just took him right from the first responders' hands and into the bathtub.
Yeah, and really just incredible, and just so heartwarming. You know, we've had so much heavy news and so much sad news and so much stressful news with all the talk of coronavirus. This is honestly just what we all needed to hear, isn't it? I mean, I thought this morning myself, we couldn't handle a day with more bad news and more sad news, and I think we all felt that way. And I know a lot of people from Facebook and so many people were hoping and praying and thinking of this little boy and his family, and really just the outpouring of support. More than 300 people there to help out, and the Mays County deputy said it best. He says, who amongst us, if we have our own child, would not have done the same and rushed there to help? Incredible to see this. And Rick, thank you all so much. I know you guys are going to be staying there to wrap up at that scene, and we'll be bringing the latest there live from 5 o'clock. Again, 2-year-old Jesse Young safe. 2 volunteers on horseback found him in Mays County. He is not harmed, a few minor scratches, and he is doing just fine. The best news that we could possibly share with you. And thanks to all of you who shared his picture over and over and over from our Facebook pages and stayed tuned for this coverage here. We're so thrilled to bring you this great news. We'll see you back here tonight at 5.